Hi there, thanks for joining the live webinar. We'll begin very shortly at 7 p.m. sharp. If you're enjoying your dinner, just sit back, enjoy the webinar, and continue with your dinner. We'll be discussing silver today, so it's some a keenly discussed topic right now. So I'm sure all of you are very eager to hear views from our special guest, Mr. Wong Kon. Okay, we'll begin very shortly at 7 p.m. Stay tuned. We'll start very shortly. Hi there, welcome to the live webinar. This is your MC for today. My name is Sri, and in the studio we have our very special guest, Mr. Wong Kon, who I'll tell you all about him in a very short while. What will we be discussing about today? Well, we'll be discussing silver. As we know, gold has had his long bullish run, and now it seems like silver is taking all the spotlight with gold moving sideways at the present moment. So, is silver the one that we should look out for next? Silver has long played second fiddle to gold as a safe haven and investment asset, but its unique blend of industrial utility and monetary value makes it a compelling opportunity in today's evolving market. After surging over 60% last year and gaining another 20% year to date, silver is attracting renewed attention from traders alike. Unlike gold, which tends to move primarily on the macroeconomic sentiment, silver's performance is also supported by rising industrial demand from, say, solar energy to electronics and increasing interest from institutional investors as well. Today, Kon Hao will walk us through key factors behind silver's recent rally and how it compares to gold, and where prices of silver could be headed to next. You'll also gain insights into trading strategies suited for silver's unique dynamics and also learn how to position for potential opportunities whether you're a trader or long-term investor. So key outlines for today, key things we'll be covering: silver's dual demand, industrial metal and a hedge against inflation, gold and silver as money, trading strategies for silver and how to position for opportunity. And we'll also have time for some Q&A towards the end of the webinar, so you can ask any questions that you may have on silver. Today's speaker, our special guest, is none other than Mr. Wong Kon Hao. He has more than 25 years of trading experience in the finance industry. He's an investment strategist and has experience managing his own fund, and he founded Wikipedia Private Limited. Exchanges like Eurex, CME Group, Singapore Exchange regularly engage him to develop training content and to speak at events like this one. Conhouse specializes in market psychology as an investment strategist. He is also an expert in risk management. Conhouse is often invited to share his views on the market and provide trading insights with the industry practitioners, fund managers, proprietary traders, dealers, and retail investors like us. All right, so before we kick things off, I would like to do a quick sound check. Members of the audience, if you can hear me loud and clear, please go to your question box and type yes in there. So I know you can hear me loud and clear, and we are not having any audio issues at the moment. All right, it's a good chance for you to head to your question box. You should see it somewhere at the top. Uh, it's a box with a question mark in there. You can click on it and type yes in the question box so I know you can hear me loud and clear. All right, great. Junxiang, thanks for confirming that. Konhao, if you're all set to go, I'm ready to hand the time over to you now. Konhao, please.
So thank you, Sri, and for this introduction, and definitely thank you all for tuning in at 7 p.m. Um, I think 25 years. Sri just mentioned about 25 years. Um, in fact, I started the industry in 1995, so 25 years have way past that. Now I'm entering into the 30th year being in this industry. So, and happened that this week is my wedding anniversary for 25 years. So yesterday, I Googled about what does 25 years mean. They say, of course, we know that's 25 years silver. And silver, it means that if you have come that far, there's this enduring spirit. You have endured so far. There's a good enduring spirit. So the next milestone in every career or every relationship is the year of the gold standard. Gold standard will be another 25 years, so total 50 years. Now I have to say that silver is enduring. That means it endured so far means that you're okay that you are in for this industry if you work in this industry for 25 years. If you're in this marriage, this relationship for 25 years, means that you're good to go through the next 25 years into goal, goal standard the next 25 years. So this was what we hoped uh, for me between me and my wife. So today, just some sidetrack a little bit about what is silver. So silver is very enduring. So I like this topic. So we're going to discuss about gold had its run. So we all know that gold has run is silver next, and my answer is highly likely a yes. So we're going to discuss. I'm going to give you three reasons why is it so. Of course, not forgetting to um, mention about at the beginning of this trending up market for the silver, which I believe that what are the strategy that we can adopt for silver. So that will be later part in my presentation. So it'll be about 45 minutes. Then the next 15 minutes before 8 p.m. I hope to take some Q&A. And so there's something about myself. Tonight, in every presentation I have, I always revolve around quantum mental analysis. So let me explain what is quantum mental analysis. It works very well for me as an investor and also a trader as well. So quantum analysis means that we study into technical analysis using charts and also fundamental analysis. So just to share a little bit hack that it works really well for me as an investor and also a trader is that first, how do I identify opportunity where we will see that tonight is that first I use technical analysis. I find that it works very well for me to seize out opportunity that's coming up on a beginning of the trend. Then, of course, if I study that that's going to happen, I have to also look at the fundamental to support the reason why I feel in this case study tonight that why the silver is about to trend even higher. So I need to support with some fundamental reason. So once we have both technical and fundamental support, as an investor, as a trader, so tonight I'm going to address much more on trading, the market. It's going to give me a added layer of confidence. Of course, when I say added layer means that also uh, prepared if I make a wrong judgment, we have to get into how to risk manage it as well. So that's one of the deal about being a trader. Yeah. So this is a chart from last year and this year. I just prepared this today. Yeah. So you could see that in 2024, if I take the lowest point of gold and the highest point of gold last year for gold, gold has appreciated by 40%. And unknowingly, not many people talk about silver in 2024. This year, if you read news, we start to hear about silver. But I believe if we are right on our discussion here tonight, in 2025, if silver continue to climb the next half, I'm sure by 2026, you'll see a lot of report about silver. So let's go back to 2024. Is that unknowingly silver from its lowest point during 2024 to the highest point, it has rallied 60%. But only this year we start to take notice of silver. And let's do a comparison between this year for gold and silver. Taking the lowest point and which is here, no, which is here. So 2025 started here. In fact, it started at the year low, and a few months ago, on the 2nd of April 2025, it reached a high, at 3,509. So this move is up 34%, but we also saw that silver this year so far, half a year, is outperforming the gold by 2%. But last year was outstanding, where I believe that the second half of the year, silver may continue this run. And we're going to discuss about the fundamental first. Then after that, towards the end, I'm going to share with you some insight about how am I preparing myself to trade this silver market. So what presented here is not a recommendation, so please consult your licensed broker, who is Phillip Nova. And every platform given, whether it's a webinar or physical session, I take it very seriously. In fact, I spend the whole day just to relook at the slides, and I want to give you uh, my best representation of what I know. And every platform given, I was determined to shape the mind of every investor and traders to develop lateral thinking. Lateral thinking means that I hope that the people who are listening to me, that they're able to develop this thinking out of the box method, like instead of just reading the news, reading what people say, but you form your own ideas, think out of the box. And when there's risk, like today, uncertainty, we have to take calculated risk. Calculated risk means that especially works for traders is that we have to take very measured risk. Means that no matter how confident you are, you have to understand. Tonight, I won't talk about the too much about how to achieve that 1% risk. Means that if you make a mistake, you're just going to risk about 1 or 2% at max of your trading fund. I'm not going to speak too much of that, but I hope that just throw some ideas to you. But tonight, I'm also going to share about with the silver that you're seeing, and later I'm going to share with you a story that my closest partner, who is my wife, also get into the silver under my influence, good influence. I think between husband and wife, we don't need I don't need to be a licensed broker to influence her. So she lived with me. So she also kind of beginning to appreciate the precious metal market. So how to take a bolder risk when opportunity arises. So we're gonna talk specifically about silver this evening. So on the silver, there are three reasons I feel that the why I'm seeing what I'm seeing here to this evening is that first is the industrial, and then it is a hedge against inflation, and the third key reason is the silver act as money as well. So there's a rising usage of industrial for this precious metal, silver. Now let's quickly take a look at the industrial. And just one point as a disclaimer here is that I have to let you know that I'm not a from the mining companies. I'm not the from the physical sites uh, on the silver production side. So I'm from the investor point of view as a trader's point of view. So what I presented here is what I've read from reports and insights, and I formed the opinion. So during Q&A, if you ask me about mining, more specific question about production, I may not know how to answer your question, but when it comes to the fundamental development and price behavior about trading techniques on the silver, I will do my best to answer all your question later. Now let's get into the first part, which is the key industrial metal. Silver is a key industrial metal. Before I touch on the silver is also a hedge against inflation. So silver, how many of the silver in percentage are used for industrial is way more than gold. Yeah, but yet gold went up a lot. So like what Sri earlier mentioned that gold has went up quite a bit, especially after 2022 when inflation hit a high of 9% for CPI US. Um, it was gold viewed as an inflation hedge. Not much of the industry use, but silver. If you look at silver, there's a lot of inflation or rather industrial use segmentation here. You could see as much as 60%. So around 10 to 20% are investors like yourself and myself who are getting silver. Then the other 10 or 20% we is jewelry, silverware, and the other purpose. So this ring that I have used to be white gold, but after that I, I converted to silver because I travel quite a bit. That white gold with some diamond stud. So I replace it with silver, me and my wife. So as we travel, so we don't have to worry about if I lost that precious ring that I have. So these are silver ring. And let's talk about the 60% usage for the industrial production for silver in comparison with gold. Now, some of the attributes about silver is that it is an excellent conductor of electricity. So, unlike copper, it does not rust and decay. One of the main usage for silver today is the solar panel. In solar panel, I think Singapore is pretty big in solar panel. In case you're not aware, we have some floating solar panel somewhere around the island. And when you have solar panel, silver are used to conduct the elect the these the electricity stored to the connector from the solar panel to the stored electricity. So it is a very good conductor. But you could see that if I'm going to put copper can be done, but copper are very prone to rust and corrosion. So most of the solar panel is placed outside the rooftop or outdoor. It has to be outdoor. If not, you will not able to collect the sun energy. So a copper will not do because it will rust. So therefore, silver is need for solar panel. So therefore, it is being used in solar panel. Now let's discuss about which are the main areas of industry. And as I go down the list, it will not be in detail, but I want to see that all this industry that we have, EV, semiconductor, AI, and solar panel, as of now and moving forward, will there be a continuous increase in demand in EV? Because EV, you need silver. Semiconductor, you need silver as conductor. AI is part of semiconductor, is part of AI, so it's related. And solar panel, I just give you a brief idea how it works. So it's not just now, especially the last few years, there's an increased demand for all this industry who needs.
Hey Konal, sorry, I might have missed you audio for the last 10 seconds. Would you be able to repeat what you shared earlier? I think there could be a slight issue. I can't seem to hear you right now. No, still can't. Do you wanna try replug your mic and see whether that works?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, can I
Okay.
trouble you to just repeat that portion, maybe last
Sure.
10
Just
seconds?
just
Thanks.
feel free to intervene. Yeah. I think that's the whole point between a partnership, right? Yeah. Just feel free to intervene. And I think right now in terms of inflation hedge, the silver seems to be intervening the gold market, and later we'll see a bit of that. Why I feel that gold will have some correction and silver should be a what I call the asset allocation that they are allocating into the silver right now. So going back, the last loss of 10 seconds that we have is that we have to ask ourselves where we see that all this industry, EV, semiconductor, AI, solar panel, has been on a growth, sudden growth over the last 2 years. You talk about EV even before the COVID, which is not that long ago. Yeah, we know that it's technology, but we don't really see that it's up and don't really physically see that. But only 2021 onwards, we start to see them on the road. It grew very fast. But all this industry, we got to ask ourselves, moving forward, will the growing still be continuous? And of course, all our answer is yes. And if our answer is yes, it means that there will be demand for silver. But is the existing silver sufficient for the future demand? I believe that it will be quite challenging. So, in between supply and demand for industrial usage, if there's more demand and supply are quite hard going. So, based on this, on the industrial side, with I think there's three key reasons I mentioned for silver why I believe it will continue to move up. So, this one of the key reason, demand and supply. Demand will be there and it's growing, but is supply sufficient to feed the demand? I think will be quite challenging. So therefore, we're seeing that the silver may have a continuous grow uptrend. So this is a source from China News Asia He says that the solar industry demand up by 139% in a decade. And moving forward, earlier we explored together that it seems that there's more growing demand for the four industry that we mentioned. And the rapid growth rises supply deficit fear, which I just mentioned that. And the mine production is approximately 7%. So there's a kind of a supply crisis that we are seeing according to the report. So I'm not exactly sure. Is it true? But this is what I gather from the CNA. So once again, the fourth point is the tightening of supply and demand gap should push silver price higher. So all these, I look through different sources that you can refer to CNA, which was just published not too long ago on the 26th May 2025. You just Google search about this title, more investor turn to silver, even as prices surge, driven by increased industrial demand. So I think it's a wonderful report. So what I just mentioned earlier are mostly there in this, just a very short write-up. Okay, so I just complete this. The industrial usage is a very brief. Of course, if you are interested to find out more, I'll encourage you to continue to dig in to do research. Let me just move into what I'm better at. Yeah, because I'm not at the mining production side, but I'm speaking for as an investor and trader side. What I know about the uh, production silver industrial side. But let me just talk about silver. The second point why I believe that silver is going to go up is that is also a hedge against inflation. Then before I cover about silver, is also a function as money. How does it work? Now, just about last year, almost exactly 1 year ago, on 19 June 2024, I went to Phillip Nova in Kuching. So they have every corner of the earth you will see Phillip. Yeah. So together with CME Group as well. So thank you CME that partner with Phillip Nova and bring me to places which I enjoy speaking to all the audience and working with various partners. So what I presented here was that silver is also an inflation hedge. But before I touch on silver, let me just touch on gold. Yeah, so gold, all of us know that is an inflation hedge assets. Even today, so of course, on the June 2024 last year, gold was at 2,342 US dollars. So then I believe that gold will still continue to climb. Um, but I want to look at this relationship because I study between the gold and silver relationship over these past five decades. And we have to understand that since 2000, or some say it's 5,000 years ago, silver and gold is always function as money. So seriously, even today is function as money. So later I explain to you why is it function as money. Um, Now, when I study about this relationship between gold and silver, I noticed that there's something in history. So I literally track back to 1970s, and thankfully my platform allows me to do that. That what I studied was during this inflation fear period in the 80s. We all may have read about it if you're much younger. So in the 1980s, I'm just a kid, yeah, in my primary school. So I don't know about inflation back then. I lived through that period, but I don't know about inflation. But as I look back, we understood about, we read about the 80s inflation where the interest rate rose as high as 20%, CPI, US CPI rose as high as 15%. So gold also picked up back then because it was inflation hedge assets. And shortly later, when the gold get very pricey and silver subsequently also pick up. I want you to see this relationship, but there's the phenomena that I saw that I can explain the reason why is it so. That when silver became so pricey, and people always look at the second alternative because silver is also an inflation hedge. Why? Because silver was money in the past. Yeah, was silver coin and gold coin in the past. It was money in the past. For a few thousand years, people acknowledge that. So when gold get a bit pricey, usually gold will stand still a little bit, then investor will get into silver. And I noticed this phenomena is that when silver started to move, it moved much faster. the multiplier effect is much more. So based on the 80s, and as we move to the '08 crisis, we again saw that there's this fear. Whenever there's uncertainty, gold also back as a hedge as well. We saw that how gold have appreciated from 200 to about 1009, surpass 1009 level. The same phenomenal is that gold will move up first, and shortly later, and quite quickly, silver pick up tremendously. We could see that the if I'm going to use this low base point to this highest point, about 1009 exceeding is about 7.5 folds. But when silver start to move, we could see that it move up by 12.4 times. So last year, my presentation was that I believe that gold is going to continue to move up. But my idea is that for our Phillip Nova in Kuching, the investor and traders there, I say, but also don't forget about silver because this is a phenomenon that we're seeing. So where is silver today? Silver is at 37 US dollars. And I think it's just the beginning that is going to move up. So later on, I can explain to you more. But just to do a comparison to give you some understanding that later I'm going to move on deeper into why gold and silver was money and it is still money today. Yeah, so you're able to appreciate better. So why silver will catch up later is because when gold get too pricey right now at 3,005, 3,003, it is still around 3,005. And investor find that it's very pricey. And is there an alternative, a replacement for gold? Another asset that's very similar to gold, and investor traditionally in history always turn to silver. So when they start to pick up silver because it's relatively much cheaper, and they'll buy in greater confidence and greater volume, and that's how why we see in history that silver pick up much faster later on. So where is gold today? It hit a high of 3,509, and that's for the COMEX gold futures. And we could see that silver from 20 earlier the demonstration was at 27 US dollars. Today is at 37 US dollars. So gold had its run, is silver next, and I highly likely find that it will be next. And like what I say, whether is it 2,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago, it doesn't matter. But gold and silver has a long track record. So for investor, I feel confident to park my money in the precious metal market. The only downside is that they do not pay dividend. But today, later on, I'm going to focus on how to trade the silver, and I believe that is at the beginning of a good trend to come. Okay, just to share one article here is that before I move on to the to define why silver is money, uh, this article is very interesting because I knew that what we explained to you earlier was, in fact, it's a spread. Just now we saw that gold will pick up first, subsequently silver will catch up. And we have to understand the reason why. It's because history is always the case. When gold get too expensive, investor will always look for the second alternative, which is also as precious, who is silver. So they will catch up later. So this is called spread, and I think Reuters pick it up, and I think various news sources pick it up. The spread from 105 now has dropped to 94. This was published on the 5th of June, which is a month ago. Now, what do you mean by 94? And I suspect that this spread is going to continue to move down. Say, for example, today we know that the silver, or rather gold, is at 3,003. So if you're going to use 3,300 US dollars divided by today, I just reached a high of 37. So I'm going to divide by 37. Gold is at 3,003 divided by 37 for silver. You will give me a ratio of 89. So you see that this spread has been falling from 5th of June from 94. Today is at 89. And over the last Friday, I was in KL. I also presented a very similar topic, but I focused more on gold. This spread was at about 91. So today falls some more to 89. I believe that this spread is going to continue to fall. Means that, say for example, gold maintain at 3,003. Say for example, and if silver continue to move up to 40, you just 3,300 divided by 40, you will see that this gold silver spread continue to drop to 82, where we believe I think the first support should be about 65. If it continue to silver continue to move, it may even drop to 40, this spread. So we have some track record on the spread over the last 40 years or 50 years, and it's always a very similar behavior where earlier we discussed about gold usually move first because it gets so pricey that investors are always getting into the silver much later. But when they get into it, their buying power seems that pretty aggressive. That's what I see the behavior. So now let's discuss about how to trade the silver. Before we discuss about the next 15 minutes, how to uh, getting in and out of silver market, which is as important because trading is part of my life as well. Last week in KL, I mentioned that to me, trading is a job. You can receive uh, not a regular income. The income could be fluctuate, but the whole objective is to we work on trading that hopefully every month we receive some income, and usually this income I feed to my investment for long-term growth. So this is basically quite happy doing that to trading as income, spend some, save much, then use the saving to invest in some long-term growth. So I invest in silver. I also trade this silver as well. Moving forward, I'm going to be a little bit more active in trading silver because I believe the trend has just arrived. We're going to demonstrate to you why and then how to do that. Now, so there's COMEX silver, which is pretty pricey right now. Although all these within Nova, you could margin it, means that COMEX silver every 10-cent movement worth 50 US dollars. If it's priced at 35 US dollars or 37 today, so you just shift out the decimal, the whole contract value worth at let's say 35 US dollars today, whether you buy or you sell short, is 175 US dollars just for one contract. Of course, you can margin that. I will leave it to the brokers, Phillip Nova, to explain to you how the margin work. Maybe after the event, you're interested, you can call them. But it can be quite a substantial sum for many retail investor, especially if you're new. So therefore, CME have birth of micro silver quite a number of years back. Basically, could see is much reduced in its contract value. It's basically every 1 cent movement worth 10 US dollars instead of 50 US dollars. So you also translate down to every time you buy one silver at 37 or in this case 35 US dollars, the total worth of the silver that you carry overnight if you have a position is 35,000 US dollars. So it's much, much lighter. So according to your starting point as a inexperienced trader or experienced traders, but it also depends how deep your assets are. So 35,000 may be quite a bit to you, or maybe quite manageable to you. If it's quite manageable size to you, you can always increase the quantum to instead of one lot, you increase to 2 or 5 lots. It's up to individual. But you always focus on the total quantum or notional value that you carry overnight in case the market move against you by 1, 2, or even 5%. Say, for example, you just take 1, 2, or 5% times 35,000 US dollars for one lot. Can you sleep peacefully overnight? If the answer is yes, then the quantum it is for you. But of course, I just want to give you some idea on how to manage your quantity, and I hope that maybe in future I have a longer hour of workshop. I'll get into detail. But let me just get into the trading strategy right now for how to trade silver. So it's important that when we trade, we select the right contract to start off with. But this contract, we also have to know them more intimately. Yeah, so we cannot be too casual about it. So whether micro silver works for you or COMEX silver works for you, if micro silver works for you, one lot may be too little, then you can trade 2 or 3. It's up to individual. Okay, let's move on to something more interesting, which is the trading strategy for silver. But before that, let me just give you a brief idea why gold and silver as money. So in October, I go back last year to Phillip Nova or Futures in Kuching again with together with CME. So back then, I shared with them that gold is money. And if you look at gold, I think since about 10 years ago, I've been representing this, that a lot of investors do not understand what gold is. I say gold, in fact, is a currency. If you just look at gold, is gold against US dollars. Say, for example, we all knew that um, let's say I talk about dollar sing. Dollar sing is always a pair of currency. If I say dollar sing is coming down, it means that US dollar is coming down, Sing dollar is going up. But when we look at gold, we have to understand that gold is a currency. Gold against US dollars. So of course today context is about silver, but silver is also a currency. It's a pair. You just look at silver against US dollars. So let me just give you a context on gold, but you have to see the relationship between gold and silver. So before I move on into the trading strategy. So gold is a currency. Just look at gold as gold backslash US dollars. You'll get what I mean. So in October last year, was in Phillip futures. And then I share that there's an inverse opposite relationship between gold and US dollars. So then US dollars was at 107. And I say that I believe that US dollars is going to continue to come down. And today, the last few days, reached a low about cross to below 97, was at 96, big figure. So from 101 to 106, 96 is quite a big jump, about 4% drop, if you can see here. So I believe that if the US dollars continue to drop, gold will continue to appreciate, because in this study, we can see that whenever the US dollars depreciate from this year to this year, gold appreciate. But when US dollars depreciate, you can see that gold have this multiply effect, that it went up more, right, in terms of percentage gain. So is this during this period when US dollars depreciate, gold appreciate. So I still believe that the US dollar is going to continue to depreciate. Of course, my topic is not about US dollars tonight, so I will not dwell inside too much, but we have to see the relationship is that gold is a currency, gold against US dollars. So US dollars play a big part in gold. So I also have to have a view about where is the US dollars heading. If the US dollar is going to continue to head down, which I think likely my answer is yes. So therefore, I have a case that gold is going to continue to move up. If gold is going to continue to move up, we just now also have a brief understanding about the spread relationship between gold and silver, which I also feel that silver is underperforming back then and even right now. I think there's more upside. So we also study about silver traditionally will catch up gold later. Why? Because investors will feel that gold is too pricey, too expensive. So that was last year in October. You could see that when US dollars dropped to 96, gold has also appreciated from 2006 in October last year to today about 3005. That was 97, but 96 by now that we could see this relationship. So like what I say that why gold, silver is also money. And seriously, they are money. Why? Because if you take an ounce of silver to our local bank who has a bullion department, you can literally exchange them with Sing dollars or whichever, wherever you're from. I understand that we have a lot of friends from Malaysia as well, so extended this invitation to our friends in Malaysia. If your bank have the bullion department, try that. You can exchange in ringgit as well. So, like what I say, to understand about gold and silver, because they are money, then we have to understand the dollar trend. So, some years ago, I already understood this principle that, in fact, a lot of people say that the US dollar is very strong, but when I look at certain pair of currency, I kind of disagree to that, because if you look at the dollar Swiss, um, over the last 50 years, the dollar has depreciated by so many times against the Swiss franc. Reason was because Swiss franc up to today, their accumulated debt, uh, the numbers are around about 141 billion Swiss, compared to the debt US have is around the range of 36 trillion US dollars. Trillion and billions are very different. So based on that, you could see literally that the Swiss have appreciated against the US dollars a lot. So the other currency pair where I'm very proud of as well is that the Sing dollars are managing very well. So therefore the dollar Sing have been depreciating over the years. Yeah, so 1.28. So of course, when Sing dollars strengthen against US dollars, so therefore Singaporeans has been love to travel out of Singapore because the purchasing power is very strong. Yeah. So So what do you think? The dollar sink, the dollar Swiss will continue to move down? If your answer is yes, then highly likely US dollars are weakening further. If US dollars are weakening further, it also means that gold should strengthen further or at least stay around here. And if gold stay around here, then I think likely silver will also catch up later on. Yeah, which is moving right now. Okay, let me just explain to you the trading in the silver right now. So I just want to keep the next 15 minutes or 10 minutes that we have, we get into the Q&A. So to me, it's a very simple mathematics. That, all this while we read about the US is the greatest debtor of the world. But you'll come to a point that may have a tipping point. And I think the tipping point started in June 2022 when the US CPI hit a high of 9%. And the bonds also peaked in March 2020. And it kind of broke its major support in June after June 2022. So all these time period are very sensitive and yield are now at a high. Interest rate, US interest rate is at one of the highest point. So therefore, I felt that the US debt is in a very crucial point. It's a tipping point. I can't be specific on the dates, but we got to watch it very closely. So as debt rises, currency weakens, as we could see if you compare to the stronger currency like the Swiss and Sing dollars, US dollars in fact has weakened, and therefore inflation accelerate. We may not see that in the CPN number, but the goal is very telling to me at 3005, that's a high, but today at 3003, it also speaks to me that inflation is still here to stay because investors are seeing that they are still investing in gold. And when I say investing in gold, it's not just ordinary investor that we are seeing here, but it's also the central banks around the world are investing into gold as well, starting from 2022. As of the first quarter in 2025, I could see from the source that the central bank are still heavily investing into gold. So when central bank investing in gold, what does it speak to you? It speaks to me that they're still seeing that the fear of inflation still lingers. So why I feel that the gold may have some correction here. I think just beyond that, but a very quick one, because I want to spend the next a good minutes to talk about the trading strategy in silver. If you could see that I have drawn this uptrend line using all this trough that support, then I mirror this with the most significant high in during the before the 80s, and I joined this across. You could see that how reactive gold was at 3005. That doesn't mean that gold is going to come down. So my expectation for gold is that it's very psychological point here. It may retrace. I do not know how low it retrace, but I believe that retracement may come for gold. But when that happens, then investor will still know and acknowledge that the fear of inflation still lingers, and then they will still look for alternative inflation hedge assets to invest in, and which I believe that silver is in the making. Now let's get into the silver. Okay, so with the technical correction for gold, what about silver? And so this is what we have discussed earlier. So we could see that gold has broke its roof about 1009 resistant since 2004, 2024 rather. But now silver could be in the making. Now let's get into the silver right now. How to position for this opportunity? Yeah. So in last year, January 2024, I recognized the big picture here was that was about 1.5 years ago. We could see that gold has been testing this strong resistance in year 2000 US dollars for numerous quarter. It tried, it failed. It tried, it failed. So to me, all these are very psychological. It tried, it failed. At the end of 2023, at the last trading day of 2023, for the first time in history, therefore I say that in January 2024, the first week of 2024 where I make this presentation, I study back into the last trading day of 2023. I find that for the first time it finally closed above this 2000 US dollars very convincingly, which I believe 2024 onwards the gold should be moving up. So then the goal was at 2000 Of course, you know that the gold continued to move up from 2000 to uh, nearing 3,000 US dollars for the gold in 2024. So beyond that, I also saw this cup and handle formation. So later on, why am I showing you this? Because I'm seeing a very similar patterns and behavior for the silver, yeah, of this cup and handle formation. So this is where gold is. Now let's move on to silver right now. And on the last year, April, so I presented the topic with CME and Trading View online, was that I saw this. Then silver is at 27 US dollars. I also saw this cup and handle formation for the silver. So then I was still preaching about silver may catch up, but today got a very different confirmation here, or I would say that there's a confirmation that this cup and handle may have formed. Let's look at where the silver today here. And this is what I saw in the year chart. Year chart, it means that every bar that we are seeing here represent one whole year. So in history, we could see that silver was resisted at around somewhere around 30 US dollars quite nicely, because in history it did test and it failed. It failed, and it tested a few times that we could see, including last year in 2024, silver tested and it failed. And but this year, of course, the year have not closed. I hope that you'll close firm. If it close firm, I think for 2026, silver is going to be on the move for more upside. But let's look at the monthly chart now. If you see how I formulate my trade here, is that I've been mainly talking about the macro, the long-term chart, the yearly chart, or maybe they discovered the quarterly chart. But notice that I narrowed down to smaller time frame. But first, I need to understand where's the main trend. Now, as a trader, now moving to trader mode right now here, is that as a trader, I also have to understand where's the market right now. Is the market generally on the uptrend? If the market is generally on the uptrend as a trader, so we trade at a shorter time frame, I will try my best to buy on dips. Every time each dip, when opportunity surface, I will try to get into the position with a calculated risk. Now, trading, we have to have a stop loss. But if the trend is on the downtrend, opposite is true. I will try to focus my resources, my time and energy to look out for where is the selling on strength opportunity. But when the market is range bound, heading nowhere, which I believe that for 1 or 2 weeks, the silver may be range bound between about 36.50 to 37.50. Then you can formulate some ideas of range trading ideas. You can do both ways, buy or sell, and even get into options on the range trading techniques if you want to. Now, let me just drill deeper into it, how I formulate my trades here. Now, as I move into it, I switch to monthly chart, so we have some understanding about the yearly chart. The cup and handle on the yearly perspective have not really formed yet because the year have not closed. But if the year closed even at here, I'll be quite happy enough that 2026, I will know how to plan for my silver trade, for my investing portfolio. So I also have the trading portfolio as well. Now, so as I move into the monthly chart, we could see a little bit more finer detail where silver is speaking to us right now. So monthly chart, we could see that I draw this trend line or this support line. It was resistant in the past. We could see that it literally resisted in the past. But since somewhere in the June 2024 last year, it started to show me sign that this resistance has become support. And you look at the past history, it did kind of supported at some false break in between, but you could see that this level seems to be supported moving forward. Yeah, so today is at 37 US dollars. Now, so when this happened on the monthly chart, we could see that there's this very wide range between about 35 to about 29 US dollars. So in that time frame for position trade, you may adopt both way, buy and sell within this time frame between, I would say, maybe 33 on the top side, 29 on the bottom, around that. So I may do both ways on a position trade aspects. Yeah. So now, as I draw another line, also observe that market is always like that. When it move in trend, it move in level and stages. If you notice, if you have not noticed, then that's good because this is like a tutorial, right? So it move in level and stages. So once it crossed the level, it became a new stage. So that was about 35 US dollars was the last resistance. But I felt that this chart was prepared about 2 weeks ago. So the month of June have not closed, but now month of June have closed. It literally closed above this resistance line. So I believe that this new support is at 35 US dollars moving forward for silver. Okay, now as I drill into it, you could see that this is a weekly chart. We can have a better appreciation of the weekly chart. So I feel that 35 US dollars could be the new support, yeah, for silver. Now, as I move into that now on the daily chart, can you see that from month to week to day, my ideas is still quite consistent. Basically, my whole idea is to buy on dips. Now, so I prepared this chart. Then, of course, the new lines were introduced. This support is still there. 35 US dollar support is still there. So I believe that 35 around there should be supported. Now, this chart was prepared on the 20th of June 2025. So that was last week. And last week I was, no, previous week I was also in KL as well with CFA Society. And so I presented this on this silver briefly to them as well on 20th June. And I think that was on Wednesday. So Tuesday, I have one order done because I expect retracement to come to about 35.40. So I place a bid there. I just want to pay a bit of premium. So I put at 35.40. And also I explained to them that was Tuesday. My order got done at 35.40. That was a previous Tuesday. And I say that different people have different perspective because earlier I did mention to you that now my wife also get interested in the precious metal trading into precious metal position as well. So so we discussed about how to trade the market in the same time. So when I was there on Wednesday, but Tuesday the all was done. So I share with the participant, the fund managers there was that we have different perspective because on Tuesday night my wife texted me. She said that, oh no, the order is done, silver has dropped. But I reply her, say, oh yes, finally our order is done because I expect a retracement to come. So we have different expectation. To her is that she have bought some silver at much lower price, but now silver has dropped from about above 37, dropped to about 35.40. So she's quite sad. But to me, I like it because it's part of the plan. It's part of the buy into dips. So remember just now earlier I said that when we trade the market, we have to understand where the main trend is. If the market is on uptrend, we try to focus on buying on dips. So just move forward a little bit. Where was this dip? So this was a too little down move and too little down move, though that was about 35.40. My order was done and it went down to a low of 35.19 about there. But today is here, so I'm quite happy. Um, so I will continue to do this move, buy on dips. And this is the last slide and before I take on the Q&A. But I'm going to further drill down into 60 minutes chart. You'll see that all this major support from the yearly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart still there. And the upper channel on the daily chart still there. But then now I draw another uptrend line support. You could see that from this trough on the 60 minutes chart, it produced very nice uptrend. So this could be, if you look at the short-term trading, say maybe could be 1 or 2 days or within a week, this could be my strategy on buy on dips, something like this. So of course, why CME futures? Because they are very transparent in the prices that I could literally study into the volume. Why I say that the next 1 or 2 weeks it may range bound between 36.50 to 37.50. I don't expect the market to move up. It's because if you look at the historical volume and price, when the market move in level and stages, usually it will come with volume. But when you look at the volume here, it's pretty regular. So I expect that the market will continue to range bound maybe for a week or so within a new stage of 36.50 to 37.50. So for those investor or traders who like to trade the range trade, I think this is the opportunity, or you could even form some option trading strategy as well. So you could type something like that. You can ask a broker or the chat GPT even, or some option finder where you say that I have this expectation that the market will range between 36.50 to 37.50. What are the option strategy that's available? So they may give you some ideas and suggestions so you can get into it. So okay, we are coming to an end. Before we move into Q&A, these are just some showcase that CME, uh, that is our sponsor tonight, they have deep uh, products available. So this season, I focus quite a bit on agriculture and energy because I still believe, and precious metal as well. So all these are commodities market because I still believe that inflation is not over yet. The fear of inflation is still there. So some of them, all these are still really undervalued, and there's something very similar to silver that I've discussed tonight. It may some of them just break the trough and about to move up. So there are quite a few of them, in fact. So precious metal, this is one of them that we discussed tonight. And do look out for their micro futures as well. You'll see whether it's agriculture, energy, or metals. Some of them also fall into the micro futures, which is really suitable for retail traders. So before we go to Q&A, this is how we can get connected. So every week I will try my best to do up some insight on my YouTube. So every Sunday I'll launch at 10 a.m. So you can follow them. And for some study resource, you can go to the website waypedia.com, and definitely welcome that if you have some ideas about strategies to share, I would love to spar with you. And that's my email address, konhao@waypedia.com. So sorry, Sri, I exceeded the time, but I think it's good that I give you the fullness of this topic. Then I'm ready for some Q&A right now.
All right, Konhao, that works in our favor as well. It's time for the quick fire Q&A round. I hope you're ready to go, Konhao. Okay, members of the audience, we have a lot of questions today. I'll do my best to cover as much as I can. But any of the questions we don't answer, we try and get back to you separately in our follow-up email. We'll send a note to our speaker to maybe get his quick answers on them. Okay. First question is, Konal, the gold and silver ratio had been stable at 90. Will we see it going up to 100?
No, in fact, what you could see here is that I think good question here is that this is a gold silver ratio. I prepared this about 2 weeks ago, and now if it's 89, we could see that just based on this gold silver ratio chart over the last 40 years, you could see that there's a tendency they may drop down to about 65, just based on technical study. So where we see that the gold over the past few weeks, if you are following gold very closely, it's been kind of stagnated at about 3,003, but silver has been growing from strength to strength. So when that happened, literally we should be seeing that the spread should continue to come down. Yeah, and
Yeah.
based on this spread, we can see that there's this inverted hammer as well. So it's quite beautiful, right? Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, so I think this is a very good question from Raymond. Konham, maybe you can explain very quickly what's the difference between silver futures options and silver futures and options versus silver spot silver.
Okay, if you trade, I will rather you go for the futures because spots, if you're not aware that you have to pay the swap, something like interest, and you have interest rate on the climb. So sometimes unknowingly that sometimes if you trade a bit more sizable, this interest swap, they call it swap, you have to bear some costs on the daily swap rate carry. So so for futures, I like it a little bit better if you are more towards the shorter term. Then you don't have to consider about all this cost carry overnight. It's all priced into the price itself, the futures price. So each market has its attributes. Of course, for sports, you can consider to carry a bit longer period because there's no expiry date. But futures, there's some expiry date, but usually expiry dates are very measured. So it's designed in a way that it's almost like every quarter. So if you can have a position up to about 2 months, that period, if you're a trader, you should go for the futures trade. Yeah, because the forex, although you can carry a bit longer, but uh, there's all this swap carry costs that you have to bear as well. So I think that's one of the main considerations. So both market are as good, but they have their attributes and the pro and cons. So the pro and cons you may want to discuss with Philip Nova. I think they are better positioned to tell you. But as of my standing, if you are trading into intraday or less than about 2 months or 3 months, that kind of period, I think futures personally work for me better. And
All right,
options,
great.
right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
option I didn't cover. Yeah, so options is I think futures options is quite straightforward and it's only available in the COMEX silver. So earlier I mentioned about so options also have the expiry date. So therefore, whatever option strategy that you use is always true. I do not know about other traders how they deploy options, but for me, the options I'm not option trader, but if I want to trade option, I can. Is that the strategy to me always derive from what we have just discussed, right? So earlier the 60 minutes, I'm saying that it may range bound between 36.5 to 37.5 US dollars within maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks before it start to move up higher. I hope. So if you have a time frame of the next 1 or 2 weeks that silver is going to range bound, then you just got to deploy the option strategy for that period. Yeah. So option futures for CME product are very robust. So if you can go and explore them. So again, once again, check with your broker. Yes, Sri.
Um, thanks, Konhao. Okay, maybe two more questions before we end the session. We have one very interesting one. How do you keep track of silver usage in the industrial sector? Like, what do you refer to?
Okay, so I only can speak from my investing and trading perspective, right? So for silver usage, what you can do is that in fact, ChatGPT or Google is a very good resources. Like say for example, if I'm gonna say that what is the current, say you just ask ChatGPT that what is the current the at the moment what's the available resource for silver at this point in time? They will tell you that the existing resource maybe is a good of that means out of which is being mined so far, silver maybe of course I always put in context about what's the Olympic size swimming pool that we can contain, right? The silver that's being mined so far in history, they'll give me about 60 swimming pool about there. Then I say that what is the resolve that not being mined? I want to know the available resource. They'll say about 20 swimming pool. So I got some idea, right? And how about gold? Gold that's being mined in swimming pool, because Olympic size swimming pool is at about 4.5 Olympic size swimming pool. The gold is being mined. So of course, then after that, I will ask was it Google AI or ChatGPT AI as an individual investor, so you could do the same. Can you give me the link to that source? So they will provide me the link to that source. That's how I do it. Then you go. Usually these are official link. Then you go and study into detail that what's the production, what is the available resources. Then you look at the demand and supply, existing supply. Does it make sense to you? Yeah. So very short answer to that. Use the existing AI technology that's available at home or in our handheld. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
All right, Konhao, I've left a $1 million question for last. What's your thoughts on the price outlook for silver in the next 3 months? Do you think there's a chance that it could break the 15-year high of above US $40?
Okay, that's a $1 million question. I cannot answer you. It's just like uh, last year I was in the radio interview with Hong Jin, Money FN. The goal was at 2007. So you asked me whether gold can break above three. I say it's a very good question. I cannot answer you. But generally, if you're gonna ask me that, I'm seeing that silver, not by time frame. I cannot be specific
Mm,
by when. But if you ask me on my investment portfolio, I'm in already into silver, my investment portfolio. I intend to put it there for good, just like how I've invested in gold in 2016, where I purchased at 1,002, and today I'm still holding these investment
mm,
portfolio. So for silver, I've invested a few years back along the timeline. If I have extra cash, I'll buy some more. But this year I bought some more cash, and I intend to hold it for good because I believe if you just now look at the ratio and the multiplier effect between gold and silver, when silver start to move in multiplier effect of gold, and that's something that I hope to see. But when it will come, I do not know. Yeah, so no one knows. But in terms of the value, I do find that silver right now is still undervalued. Uh, there's three reasons why I believe so because silver, there's industrial use. Yeah, we discussed about that. Number two, silver is a hedge as well. And number three, silver is money. So these are the three key points that we discussed tonight. I hope you are blessed tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your insights, Kon Hao. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Wong Kon Hao, investment strategist, and our very special guest for today's session. Thank you, Kon Hao.
Thank you, Sri. Thank you all.
All right, members of the audience, I'm so sorry we can't get through all the questions. We'll do our best to address them in our follow-up email. Kon Hao, I'll send you a note with the questions that we have not answered.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for being a wonderful audience and sending us so many questions to try and send them Kon Hao's way as well. All right, we'll catch you in our next live webinar. I hope the insights were useful to you and your trading. Have a great night and have a great trading week ahead.
Thank you.